Abstract art is something that is non-representational. That means there is nothing in your abstract work of art that represents anything in real life. It is totally spontaneous and deliberate. That's the definition of abstract art. So what we're going to do today is I've decided I'm doing a series on the books of the Bible. For every book of the Bible, I'm going to do an abstract watercolor. And this is Deuteronomy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some water. There's just about an inch of water in the bottom of this. And I'm going to take some Aurelian, which is a yellow, and I'm going to put some in the water. And then I'm going to mix it up with a brush. Mix it up until it's completely saturated. The paint's completely suspended in the water. Good. Now, I'm going to pour some across my paper. Just like so. Then I'm going to take my trim guide. This is usually used for drywalling. And I'm just going to drag the water down across my paper. Just down across my paper. Just as such. Then I'm going to take a large brush and I'm going to soak up some of the pigments. You always want to use clean brushes when you're working with watercolor, because all it takes is a little bit of pigment from another color and you'll just ruin the chroma of your paint. And just flick it across, do some spatter. In another video I called this graffito. This graffito is the wrong word, it's actually splatter. Soak up some more water. And do some more spatter. Now, take a sponge. This is a sea sponge. Get it wet so it's nice and pliable. And just soak up some water and do some effects on the paper. Like that. Beautiful. Now we want to do some lines. We've got a shape, and with mass becomes a line. The opposite of a mass is a line. So let's just put some lines in here. The paper is already wet, so just draw right on the paper and the pigment of your watercolor pencil will go right into the paper. And that is your yellow. Now we've got some pooling, so just tilt your board and let it run across your paper. Just like that. Perfect. Now, let's add some green. I'm always trying to work with analogous colors lately. Analogous colors are colors that lie beside each other on the color wheel. You'd have to get a color wheel to understand that. So again, I have about an inch of water in here. Let's take some phthalo green. Just drop a bit in there. Get a clean brush. You always want to work with clean brushes, especially when you're working with watercolor. And just mix it up. Mix up your phthalo green so the green pigment is completely suspended in the water. Grab a squeegee and pour a little bit of phthalo green right there. Take your squeegee and drag it across. And pour a little bit right here. Take your squeegee and drag it across. Now, take a brush, soak up some of that green, and do some splatter. You're going to get a very different effect when you add the splatter to the wet yellow than you are when you add the splatter to the dry paper. Very different effect. Good. Now we've got these pooling green here, so just lift your paper and go the opposite direction. Let it run the opposite direction and back and forth the other way. Good. Now, take some coarse salt. I have some medium salt here, and just sprinkle some on. And when that salt soaks up the pigment, it's going to give a spotted effect on the paper. And it'll look pretty neat. Abstract art is all about creating effects. Yeah. And that is Deuteronomy. I'll just let it dry. I'll take the tape off, and then I'll sign it with the 2H pencil, and that'll be the 5th painting in my series of the books of the Bible. So I'll just take my camera here, and I'll show you what I have. You can see the salt on the paper. That'll soak up paint and create an effect. It'll look pretty pleasing when it's done. That was very deliberate and very spontaneous. And that's what abstract art is all about. Thank you very much.